Hello and welcome again to another edition of our arts radio program, Arts Podium, a candid look at what's new in contemporary art and culture. I'm Julian Hyde-Smith, and tonight I'm pleased to have in the studio as my special guest a person one can only describe as an enigma. Rocking Minestrone and his Mars Bar rappers have confounded critics and detractors alike by consistently leveling the top of the popular music charts for months on end. His special brand of music has captured the imaginations of millions of fans from Bradford to Shepton Mallet and beyond, leaving in its wake a loyal following, the like of which has not been witnessed here in England for decades. As a critic from the Times literary supplement succinctly put it, it's akin to creeping communism, upheld by the pillars of literal wisdom. Well, whatever you make of that, here's an opportunity for you to decide for yourself as I introduce Mr. Rocky Minestrone.
Yeah, well, thanks for that.
Take a seat. Welcome. Now, for the benefit of our listeners, I want to describe your attire. It's quite startling in the extreme. For instance, is that a Roman toga you're wearing?
Yeah, cool, innit? Picked it up in Rome when we did a gig at the Colosseum. I like to collect things as mementos. You know, make a visual statement as well as a loud one. This pickle orb is a German helmet me grandad nicked from the First World War. Bit big for me though.
And on your feet, they look like snowshoes.
Oh yeah, got them for a song in Canada, didn't I? The bleeding snow's melting so fast up there they can't give them away. Hey, what about me belt then? Shrunken heads. Picked them up for a doodle in Peru. They're knocking each other off so fast they're overstocked.
But surely it's illegal to deal in such merchandise.
The customs officer showed me photos of his collection. Quite impressive it was. He even had one of a
Yes, I'm sure he did. Now, can we talk a little bit about you?
Oh, I thought we were.
Well, I'd like to refer to your music. For instance, do you take poetic license in order to convey a message through the medium of modern communique? For example, through assimilation? Or is there a hidden agenda beneath the literal meaning, such that the receptor is invited to a more liberal interpretation?
Yeah, well, like, you know, what was the middle bit again?
I'm sorry. Let me put it this way. Are you expressing yourself in such a way that certain elements are drawn and empathize with your music?
Well, I mean, I think it's good for people to express themselves in any way they think fit. You know, too many rules nowadays. People get confused, don't they? Don't do this, don't say that, can't go there, can't do it here. You know, like.
Yes, quite. Who was your earliest mentor to mold you to what you are today?
Oh, me dad.
Your father?
Yeah, he was always playing Little Richard records, you know. The vinyl 78s, they was a bit warped and scratched because the cat used to sleep on them, didn't he? When Dad wanted to play one, the cat's ankles went up and he digged his claws in and scratched away like some bleeding mad dog.
Do you think the cat was conveying some kind of message too?
Dunno, do I? But Dad used to say that Little Richard had such a vocal range, he reckoned someone used to stick a pin up his arm.
Yes, well...
Here, why is he flapping his arms around then?
Ah, that's our producer. Moving right along, where did you and the Mars Bar rappers find their El Dorado?
El Dorado? We never played a gig there.
Sorry. Where did you get your so-called big break?
Oh, the Belgian conga.
Do you mean the Belgium Congo?
Yeah, that's it.
Interestingly, if Richard Burton had followed up on his discovery of the cola consumed by the local natives there, a certain popular drink may have had a different founder.
You mean Richard Burton discovered Coca-Cola whilst he was filming Cleopatra?
Oh no, Sir Richard Burton, the explorer. Nevertheless, why did you record there, of all places?
Well, hiring a recording studio there's so bleeding cheap, innit? Only costs 3 million reals an hour. Besides, President Mugabe picked us up personally from the airport in his limo, didn't he?
But surely you mean Zimbabwe?
Do I? Oh, could have been. Anyways, he became our manager and we haven't looked back since, have we? Pity he couldn't be here tonight though, but he had another appointment.
Are you saying you're affiliated with Mr. Mugabe?
Well, he was in the early days, until he went on the road solo, so to speak.
Interesting. Tell me, how and where does literary inspiration reveal itself, and how do you apply it to your music?
Well, it sort of comes in a flash, doesn't it? Like you're standing there and suddenly it comes. Like, yeah.
Like what? Wordsworth standing and contemplating the Cumberland landscape?
Who? Wordsworth the rapper? His music's crap.
No, William Wordsworth the poet. He wrote I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud and many other romantic poems.
Look, if it didn't reach the bleeding top 10, it didn't reach the kids, did it?
Point taken. But your critics have not always been kind to you, have they? For instance, I quote from the New York Times. It is easier to invest in cultural genocide rather than the death throes of human endeavour. And he goes on further. When we listen to Minestrone, we experience the mutterings of early Neanderthal communications. So what is your response to such observations?
Look, what do you expect from a local rag? We had better write-ups in the Cairo Daily. Pity it was all in Arabic, though.
Yes. Now, what about your earlier life, before you became famous? Where did you work?
I worked at Better Buns.
Better Buns?
Yeah, well, sticking cherries on buns on a conveyor belt. Took a lot of bleeding concentration, I can tell you. Especially when Robert the Bruce upped the production speed. He was our foreman. He was on a bleeding bonus, weren't he? And instead of 1 cherry per second, he speeded up the conveyor so we had to stick 2, then 3 cherries a second. If you lost concentration and missed a couple, you had to chase them down the bleeding line. I often collided with Bernie Shaw, who was glazing them.
Ah, so that's where you met the other members of the band.
Yeah, that's right. We used to play in the canteen at lunchtime. Lord Byron was on the board and he suggested we take it up professionally, didn't he?
I find it intriguing that your colleagues are named after famous poets. Lord Byron, for instance. Why is that?
I don't know, do I? I weren't there at their bleeding christenings, was I?
And surely it's no coincidence that Bernie Shaw, your drummer, is Irish and is akin to his namesake, George Bernard Shaw.
Who?
Bernard Shaw. He was a poet come playwright. Lady Windermere's Fan is attributed to him.
Never heard of it. Did it reach the top 10 then?
Goodness gracious, what is that commotion?
Oh, it's only Daphne, our tea lady, innit?
Did you say tea lady?
Here, he's waving his arms again.
You can call me Duff. You fancy a cup of that?
Mohammed, what's going on here? I'm trying to do an interview.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I know, Sahib. I am every time trying to stopping her. She very plucky lady. Why don't you just sit down and relax? We'll have a nice cup of tea.
No, I don't think... Ah, Rocky, there you are. Sorry I'm late, old chap. Had to pop in and pick up the dry cleaning for Gloria.
Hello, me lord. How is Gloria?
Mr. Minestrone. Ah, there you be, Daphne. Now would you be having me called Guinness there waiting for me on the trolley?
Well, of course, Bertie. Anything for you, Ducky.
Why is it? Everywhere you turn here, there are dogs barking.
Goodness sake, Mohammed, get rid of those flipping dogs. Now, Mr. Minestrone, if we could possibly get back to the interview, I believe you have a new album released called, let me see, Rock of Ages?
Yeah, that's right. I was inspired by And then we used to sing in the choir when I was a little boy.
Testing.
It went
One,
something like this. Rock of Ages, cleft for me, let me to thy bosom fly.
Are you two talking about me again, are you? You naughty. You sure we don't want to catch
Please, no, Daphne. No. What the devil is going on back there?
That's just the band setting up, innit?
But surely you employ a roadie to do these sort of things for you?
Yeah, well, we did have a roadie until our last gig in Cairo, didn't we? But he caught a social disease. I told him not to go in that bleeding place, didn't I?
Yes. Well, perhaps we can hear a track from this new album of yours called Rock of Ages.
Okay, you ready then, boys?
Hey, as ready as we'll ever be, now that I've fixed my G-string.
Okay, take it from the top. After... wait for it, Danny.
What are you waiting for? Let's get on with it.
Okay, discipline, that's your problem. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Well, come on, everybody, 'cause we're gonna rob a bank tonight. I got some suckers in my bags, and they're all gonna fit just right. Well, I've been doing my homework all week long. The bank is empty, the guns are gone. Oh, yeah, come on, everybody. Well, my bank's number one, but we're gonna rob 3 or 4. And the safe will be shaking from messages to the smashes to the floor. When you get that money, when your hand is in the till, the cops don't get you, then your baby will. Oh, yeah, come on, everybody. If the law gets wind, then I'm afraid they're gonna have your heights. Well, there'll be no more movies for a week or two. We'll be breaking up rocks with the usual crew. Who cares? Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
This program was brought to you by Off the Planet Productions. We now cross over to St Mark's Chapel, Scunthorpe, to bring you Songs of Praise. Our host this evening is Igmar Johansson.
Oh, thank God that's over, George. Did you see the mess they left behind? It looks like a Chinese brothel after the Japanese army has ploughed through it. My God, where do they find these idiots?
Oh, yes, I know what you mean, old chap. It's just a lowering of standards. That's a problem.
Olga, give that thing the flick, will you, please? Oh, that's better. Cigar, George?
I don't mind if I do, thank you.
Ah, that's better. I just don't understand what's got into their thick heads at this station. I mean, Rocky Minestrone. My God, how low can you get? I say, Martin, we're still on the air, old boy.
Oh, Lord. Where's the weather forecast?
Ah, here. This is the weather forecast until 12 a.m. tomorrow. Irish Sea, Hebrides, Isle of Man. North to northeast winds veering to gale force.